The Honorable Elijah Muhammad for 44 years taught us that God is not a mystery. He's not a spirit. He's not a spook. God is real. He's a real, live, human being, differing from you and me only in that he is supreme in knowledge, wisdom, understanding, and power. This is what he taught us. Of course, this upset the Muslim world, and it upset many of our Christian brothers and sisters, that a black man born in America, born in Georgia, who only went to the 4th grade of school, said that he met with God, and God taught him night and day for 3½ years, then went away and left him here with a mission to raise the black man and woman of America up from the grave of mental death and ignorance. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad was laughed at. He was mocked and scorned and ridiculed. But white people did not laugh at him. They knew better. When war broke out in 1941, by executive order, the President of the United States had the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taken off of the streets because they did not want a black man teaching black men and women the proper use of themselves, for they wanted to use our bodies to prosecute a war that was not in our interest, even as President Bush is using the bodies of black boys and girls to prosecute a war that is not in our best interest. Elijah Muhammad made many ministers and sent them into the cities of America, and he produced the most disciplined, organized, and progressive group of black people ever to be seen in the Western Hemisphere, yet he only had a 4th grade education. He taught Malcolm X, who had an 8th grade education. And Malcolm confounded the scholars of the world with an 8th grade education, but taught by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Muhammad Ali was Cassius Clay, just going to be another great fighter, until he met with and was taught by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Then he burst onto the scene, one of the greatest fighters that ever lived, but he was a different kind of fighter. He was a fighter with a message in his mind, a message in his heart. He was a fighter that stood for a principle. He fought the government of the United States against the war in Vietnam, and he prevailed. Even though he was stripped of his title, nevertheless he came back to win the championship 2 or 3 times more. I think it was twice more. My point is, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad had to know something and had to know somebody to say what he said and do what he did and live in America when black men who thought so much less than him lost their lives for just thinking as he was bold enough to speak. Louis Farrakhan now is known pretty much throughout the earth and honored and respected in many circles of our people. But I was just a common musician. I never graduated from college. I only went to the 3rd year in college. But Elijah Muhammad took me from there and taught me. He's not an ordinary man. He's an extraordinary man. How do you know? Wisdom is known of its children. If you are wise, you don't produce a fool. I am the child of my father, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I know no other father but him. My biological father died when I was quite young, and even before he died, I never knew him. When I met the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, I met my father. He fathered me into knowledge, into wisdom, into understanding. He brought out of me what the Creator had put in me for the service of my people. So if I am anything of value today, it's because I had a good father, a good example, a good teacher. And so I stand before the world today to challenge the scholarship of the world on the most important of all subjects: who is God? Who is God? We all talk about him. Certainly we love him. We bear witness that he is the greatest. We live in his universe. There is nothing to compare with it. So certainly there is nothing to compare with him. But who is he? We want to know our Creator. We want to know God. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, on the back page of our newspaper, Then the Muhammad Speaks, Now the Final Call, in point number 12, he said, and I quote, "We believe that Allah came to us in the person of Master W. Farad Muhammad, the long-awaited Messiah of the Christians and Mahdi of the Muslims. And lastly, we believe that there is no God but Allah, and that he will set up a government of peace wherein we all can live in peace and brotherhood." Many of the scholars of Islam have said to me, "Brother Farrakhan, why don't you take that off of the back page?" Many of my Muslim brothers and sisters who love Allah and love Prophet Muhammad and love the Quran said, "This is un-Islamic. Take it away from the page. Allah never has appeared in the form of any man. Allah is not a man, but they can't tell us what he is." I want you to listen to me. I intend to talk to all of you, the scholars of the world of religion, Jews and Christians and Muslims, and whatever your religious persuasion may be. We've got to know today who is God, that we may not make a mistake and serve other than him. The Bible teaches us that he made man in his own image and in his own likeness, but he's not a man. The Bible teaches us of Allah, or God, that he grieves, he sorrows, he sees, he hears. The wickedness of the wicked stinks in his nostrils. That he loves, that he hates, that he walks